Here with Jason Steele, NEWMAC champion as WPI wins the Varsity 8, the second Varsity 8, and gets the automatic bid to the NCAA championships. And Coach, your first conference championship, your thoughts?
Oh, it's an incredible day, and I think it's incredibly satisfying for the 1V to win that race. And I think we just needed to do 1 and 2, first and second, to get the automatic qualifier. But for the 2V to come back and take first, it was a really, really big moment for the team.
My lineup.
And I think really speaks a lot to the depth of the program and good things to come in that regard. But certainly, very excited about the season and just an unprecedented win today.
Let's start with the Varsity 8, and you can't say enough good things about Wellesley.
Yeah.
Boy, did they really challenge you. What a race that was. Just talk about that race, just being able to knock off a boat like that.
Yeah, no, I think the sport itself, we hope for good competition. It makes for a nerve-wracking experience for the coach standing on the sideline, no doubt, or on the shore. But at the end of the day, the opportunity to race other fast crews, other athletes out there really pushing, allows us to see and reach our potential. So I give a lot of credit to Wellesley. They know how to show up on NEWMAC. They know how to show up at NEWMAC and really have a peak performance year in and year out. And that was about as hard a day of racing as we've had all season. So
I know everybody will look to the Bates result and how close that was, and they might look at this margin and think it was a different race, but it was definitely this was definitely a close race, despite maybe with the final time.
Yeah, and what I would say about that is, in our sport, it's just difficult to know early season what's going on. Everybody's trying to figure out lineups. Everybody's trying to figure out speed. Everyone's getting back on the water. So, what is working well in the early stages of the season doesn't necessarily mean it's working well late in the season. And it's very clear to me, based on what I saw today, that Wellesley has really found some speed over the last couple of weeks, and I would expect that. I mean, they always do.
And let's talk about the 2V. You mentioned it a little bit before, but they come in, they win by 0.13 seconds.
Oh,
trail most of the race. Just talk about what you saw out of them today.
Certainly a lot of capability. I mean, they're good athletes. They row well. They row hard. I think what stood out to me most is the element of trust that is a big part of, I think, any sport, but certainly when you're in a crew. You just have to have faith and trust that everyone is pushing. And I think that boat specifically has a lot of heart. I will be honest, they did not have a great week of practices at times. We really struggled. And at the end of the day, I think we all just trusted in one another. And the only way to come back in the final stages of a race like that is that you just have like a unwavering trust in your teammates. And a lot of credit to the coxswains, both coxswains. Madeline and the 2V really did an incredible job of galvanizing the boat. And as I understand what in our post-race discussion, we typically will sprint, somewhere with 300 meters to go, and she just recognized that wasn't going to be enough and started the sprint much earlier. And I think, as the athlete said specifically, when Madeline says go, they go, and it doesn't matter where it is. They just trust that it has to be done. And
last question, the second time going to NCAAs, different route this year. You got the automatic bid in your back pocket. You had to earn it last year by racing very well the last 2 weekends and peaking at the right time. Different preparation now with New England and 2 more weeks of championships ahead.
I have to think about it, but my instinct is yes. I mean, I've given it some thought ahead of time, obviously, but looking at the lineups now, I think we're pretty dialed in. We have a good sense of who should be in the boats at this point. It doesn't mean that things don't change, but I think we've got a lot of faith in who's in there. I think if anything changes from last year, it's just going to be the training program and the idea that we don't have to look at next week and the week after that as peak performances. And my instinct tells me that gives us some opportunity to really double down on some meat and potato training over the next 2 to 3 weeks in order to peak at the right time for NCAA.
Well, enjoy your meat and potatoes meal. Coach Jason Steele, NEWMAC champion. Congratulations.
Thanks,
enjoy it, and we'll see you next weekend at New England.
All right, appreciate it.